Hello and welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest Special Edition. Today my guest is Ken Johanning. Ken, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And he has worked for a decade to try to make Kennewick's Carousel of Dreams a reality, and it is finally coming together.
It's actually here. Hard to believe.
You went down to Roswell, New Mexico and got this more than a decade ago with about $1 million investment. And can you explain how that started, where that inspiration came from?
Well, it started in March of '03 is when we went down to get them. She had them in storage for 30 years, wouldn't sell them. And through a lot of luck and a lot of talk, she picked the Tri-Cities to share her carousel.
And then you thought this was just going to move right along and just be finished in a couple of years.
I thought a late date would be '05, and now it's going to be 13. The horses are 102, and we're there.
Wonderful. What was the holdup? I know it's been up and down over the past 10 years to try to get the funding, the location.
Well, versus the other projects I've helped in or done, depending on which one, this one was so money intensive and bad economy, a lot of things going on. It just took a long time. But the average in the nation's 9.5 to 10 years to do a carousel, but I didn't know that.
Oh.
Or I probably wouldn't have started it, but so we're really not that far out of schedule. It just seemed like 100 years.
And you have a nice location out at the
Great
Sports
location.
Pavilion, the Southridge Sports Pavilion, and you're talking about getting it done here in short order. When do you expect to have it finished?
Late August, early September.
Wonderful.
Unless we run into a snag, and I don't see that.
I saw on your website's very nice, by the way.
Well, thank you.
And it talks about how you have plans for birthdays, wedding parties. You really want to share this with the whole community beyond just giving rides to kids. And maybe you can talk to us how you want the whole community to join in with this project.
Well, we've got 2 banquet facilities, which helps revenue-wise to help the carousel continue to run. We don't want to do it with ride cost. We want to do it with the other. And it'll be a community treasure. I think we'll have one of the prettiest carousels in the country. Well, Charles Carmel, who was one of the top carvers during that time, died early in life, so he didn't have as many carousels out there as a lot of them. But he'd be in the top 5 of Vanillions, or because the people around here are used to Loof, which is up in Spokane. In fact, they were partners for a while. Ah. And he'd definitely be in the top 5 of the country. And there's only 5 Carmels in the country, and we're the only one west of the Mississippi. So we've got a golden situation here. When people see our carousel, they're going to go, wow. But when they go see somebody else's, then they'll do the wow, wow, because they're going to realize we have world art.
Yes, this is a brass ring dispenser. It's from the 1900s, and I was asked to carve this salmon to go over the dispenser so that we can hang it in the carousel, and the kids can pull brass rings out and throw them into the clown's mouth for free rides.
That's amazing. How long did it take you to make this? It's beautiful.
Thank you. It took me a couple months to carve this. And then a gal named Sue Baldwin in Republic, Washington, did the paint job on this.
Oh, it's really nice.
And she's the one that also painted many of the horses in here. So it's a first-class paint job. She can make anything look good.
Well, and then once you did this, it sounds like you were discovered.
Well, yeah, you could say that. You know, Ken Johanning asked me to do this, and I was happy to do it with the proviso that if he didn't like it, that they could throw it away and no hurt feelings. And they seemed to like it, so he thought, well, maybe I would be able to carve the cougar for the carousel. So I carved the WSU cougar that'll be on the carousel when it's running this fall.
That's amazing. And I believe I read that you also have a husky?
Have a husky. It was a gift from the Missoula carousel. Oh. And then Mike carved a wooden apple that whoever wins the apple cup will wear that on its neck for the year. Like the cougar has it till November. Oh. Then we don't know who will wear it, you know, in 14.
Wonderful.
So it's the only 2 new card. We call those menageries if they're not horses. So they're the only two newly carved. The rest of them are 102 years old.
That is made so that the horses can hang from the horse hangers on the carousel, and they fit the stirrups that go underneath the horses so the kids can get on the stirrups.
Would you show us where it fits on the horse,
Sure.
please?
This fits right here on the bottom.
So the stress is not on the horse.
Of the horse.
Oh.
And it's mortised into the wood so it will not torque when it's going around.
So the kids don't lose their footing.
Right, and it won't wallow out the horse itself, so it'll keep the horse nice and fresh, and so the wood won't wallow out. And so there's this metal thing, belly plates that fit right in like that, and they're mortised down inside so that the torque of the horse as going around in circles won't wallow out on that horse hanger.
Well, it looks as we look around that they're pretty much almost done. What do you have left to do?
They are.
60%, Mike?
Yeah, I'm 50% done with these, and another month I'll have all these done, and then just little knickknacks that we have to do. There's some attachments for the tails. All these horses' tails are genuine horse tail.
Wow.
And so there's attachments for those, and so we got to make sure those are all done. So when we assemble the carousel, and we have this, and we mount these horses, everything will be in place to get that done. So
Amazing.
That's what I'm doing now.
So and how many horses are there?
44.
44 horses.
Yes, 44 horses. There's 2 menagerie animals. One's a cougar and one's a husky, and then there's going to be 3 what they call chariots.
Okay.
For handicapped people in wheelchairs, and
Or anybody.
that just wants to ride on a bench and not ride on a horse.
When I remember as a child, we'd
that?
go to get on the merry-go-round, and they would fill it up. And if you were running around and couldn't get on a horse, every now and then you'd have to sit on one of those as a child, and it would just be the end of the world.
I know.
You remember that?
It's not the place to sit.
You learn to run.
That's where the old people sit.
And then I remember my mother getting on with me and kind of fighting me to sit on her lap to go with that. And it's like, oh, I wanted to be on the horse. My mom wanted to sit in the chariot.
Right.
It's just that brings back so many memories
It
from
is.
so many people.
There are a lot of memories like that, and there's going to be room for disabled kids in wheelchairs. There's going to be tie downs and all, so that the kids that are in wheelchairs will be able to ride the carousel.
That's wonderful.
So we're going to make sure that it happens.
How many man-hours do you think you have in all of this restoration?
Oh my gosh, I can't really. I should have kept track, I guess, but there's a lot. And Betty and Sue that painted these horses, they have a lot of hours, and I should have kept. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Well, they're beautiful. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can you share with us what it costs to adopt a horse?
I think, don't hold me to this, but I think the outside row is $50,000.
All right.
And the middle row is 30. And the inside row is 20. Does that ring a bell to you?
I believe that's right.
Well, it's a 3-row carousel, so your big horses, like this is a large horse, is on the outside, then a medium horse and a small. So you can elect to adopt any one of those 3. Obviously, the outside horse is the most expensive.
All right.
And we call it adopt because the carousel will always own them. But you'll have a nameplate at the bottom with your name on it, and you name the horse. If a construction company bought one of them, they may name it low bid. The Women's Bechtel Group bought one, and it's called Charity because that's all they do is charity things.
Oh, very nice.
So you get to name them, and it's always in that name. Same thing with our rounding boards. You can adopt a rounding board. That's the big board. There's 18 of them around the top. And we just completed the first one of our look today. It's beautiful. People are going to be amazed of the lighting and the artwork on this carousel.
How exciting. And how do you feel after all your years of putting into this now that it's finally coming together? Your most long, painstaking project.
Well, that opening day is going to be unbelievable for me. I'd have a hard time talking on that day because for a while here I did not think that this would get done until the right shakers in the community got together and the momentum started, and the city gave us a location, which really hurt us for a while because we didn't have a location. It's hard to raise big monies without a home for the Carousel, and phenomenal new board members came on. You met Eric.
Yes.
And all those people came on, and it just started a current that didn't stop, and here we are.
That's
And,
fantastic.
now we're running out of time to get to that date. And it's almost a, what is it, Mike, a 10,000 square foot building almost? 9,000 something.
10,000 square feet.
Beautiful building. And we're ready to go.
Well, and I also think it's good strategy to put the new foundation in so that it has a new mechanism. That way you're not constantly repairing the old mechanism. So we have the classic horses, but new
exactly.
engine, new equipment.
1910 pig iron was good in 1910. But Mike and I and Eric and Phil went back to Mansfield, Ohio, to the top mechanism builders in the world today. And we got a brand new one, state-of-the-art, quiet, little maintenance if any. And it'll be delivered, 3 or 4 weeks before we're ready for it. It's, what is it, 90% done?
Yes, 90% done.
Oh, fantastic.
And so that's been a relief, because that was a big controversy during these 9 or 10 years. How much of the old mechanism was there? Didn't make any difference. It didn't make sense to use them. You needed closed gearboxes. You just needed everything new.
Well, and you don't want to get kids on a ride and have a ride breakdown. You have that once or twice. People might think, oh, I might not come back, and then
exactly
you don't want to be in the constant paying that unknown repair bill. And
well, and the maintenance on the old machinery, they were all Babbitt bearings, and they all required oil and grease, and daily, and the old carousels are just wonderful, but you could get grease on oil, and grease would drop on your shirt or your dress or something from above. And these bearings are all greaseless, and they're quiet, and so it'll make it a lot, and it'll make it less expensive to operate too.
Yeah, that's important.
The loud music that you used to hear in carousels, that was because it squeaked so loud. It had to hide the noise of all that pig iron moving. So our music will be there to entertain, not to cover up squeaks, groans, and moans. And so that's just completely different. It's
another thing I think is very important. This is a community project, and right now we have a warehouse on that has the rounding boards that have been provided by Carousel Works. But we have a team of gals that have gone in there and are going in there, and they're going to paint the rounding boards. They've selected
nice.
a color palette, and then John Clement is a local artist here, and he has agreed to put the local pictures that he has taken in the rounding boards. So it'll have a flavor of the Tri-Cities.
Of the Northwest and the community.
And so that so it is a community. We bought the mechanism from Carousel Works, but the painting the horses, fitting the horses for the horse hangers, doing the rounding boards is all going to be done locally, and so we're really proud of that. I saw this afternoon, I saw a sample that they had just finished for approval, and it is magnificent. They are just beautiful, and I cannot wait to see them on the carousel, and for everybody to come to the carousel and see what we've done.
And I think you had mentioned, I wasn't sure where we got it on tape, about Giza has donated $1 million and Toyota has donated $500,000. So
that's correct.
That gives you very solid funding.
It does. We have other people we're looking at right now for donations that are, but Giza came and donated $1 million, and that started us off. And then Toyota, Dwight Marquardt, the manager of Toyota, is the one that revitalized the Carousel board, and Toyota of Tri-Cities has donated $500,000, and that's for operating funds over the next 5 years. So we're assured of operating, that we'll be in the black on operating over the next 5 years while we get this thing started.
Great.
So that is.
It might bring up Adam. And what the construction companies
Yes.
and general contractors are donating so much to this.
Well,
Good point.
that's right. I mean, you cannot list them all. Adam of CRF Construction, they have agreed to be the general contractor for the building construction.
Oh, good.
And their subcontractors, the electrical, the paint, the concrete, all the heating and air, all those things that you need to make a building work, they have agreed to do that for us and Adam, and at cost. And they're going to donate a lot of the material and a lot of the time and the labor to put this building together for us. And so it's all community sponsored. Everybody will have a little piece of it, and we're so anxious that's going to be done, and we're going to recognize those people in the construction of the building inside, so that everybody will know who helped build the carousel.
Well, and as the Tri-Cities continues to grow, it's such a nice addition. I know you have those iconic symbols as cities develop, like going down into Seattle. It's so nice to ride the carousel, and as I've taken my daughters over the years, they remember those opportunities, and so I think that will be, for us moving forward as a city growing into a bigger urban area, a terrific addition.
Spokane has that same thing. Everybody centers around the carousel there. So, and this will eventually be the middle of Kennewick, Southridge will. So I just think it's, obviously, I think it's a great thing, or I wouldn't be in this for 10 years.
Well, it has had some question on and off about the financing. That's been the rub all the way along. And now some of the questions that people ask, well, how can we make this be self-financing so once we get it up and running, we can make sure this is self-funding into the future?
Well, there again, that's where the banquet facilities will come in tremendously. I mean, that creates a lot of revenue. The birthday party rooms are for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, we just like to share with the kids because there's no age for a carousel. I don't care if you're 3 or 103. So, but the real money will come from the banquet facility rooms and special events and things like that. And then the $1 million smiles that the kids do doesn't keep it running financially, but it, you know, it's all part of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your effort. Thank you so much for joining us.
All righty.
And we thank you for watching. This is Charter Local Edition Northwest Special Edition.